Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring something that's, kind of whispered about in the real estate world, but it's something that's really important for anyone even thinking about buying or selling property, and that is title insurance.
Yeah.
So we've got a stack of materials here from Title Insights. It's a company down in Tampa.
Okay.
And they are, pitching themselves as experts, claiming they've got all the ins and outs figured out about title insurance.
Sure.
So I figured, let's put that to the test, right? You and I are going to unpack this together.
Yeah, let's do it.
And see if title insurance is really all it's cracked up to be.
Absolutely.
What do you say we start with the basics, and then we can really dig into the nitty gritty?
Sounds good.
So one thing that I thought was interesting, Title Insights keeps mentioning clean titles as being like super important. And it sounds kind of self-explanatory, but is a clean title really that critical? Like, what could happen if you, as a buyer, end up with a property that doesn't have a clean title? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so think of it like this. You're about to buy your dream home.
Oh.
You've got the financing lined up.
Right.
You're picturing yourself sipping coffee on the porch. Everything seems perfect.
Yeah.
But what if, hidden beneath the surface, there's a lien on the property from a contractor who was never paid by the previous owner?
Oh.
Or worse, what if someone else shows up claiming they have a right to the property?
Oh, wow.
That's where that clean title comes in.
Okay.
It means the property's ownership history is free and clear.
So there's no,
no hidden claims, no disputes.
Gotcha.
And without it, you could be stepping into a legal nightmare.
And that's where title insurance comes in, right? It's like your safety net to protect against all those crazy what ifs.
Exactly. It's like an insurance policy specifically designed for the history of your property.
Yeah, makes sense.
Protects you from financial losses caused by things like unknown liens, errors in public records, even someone coming out of the woodwork saying, hey, I own this property.
Wow. And we're not just talking about like residential properties here, right? I mean, Title Insights mentions commercial real estate, investors, even developers, all needing title insurance.
Yeah, the stakes get even higher when you're talking about commercial properties or large-scale developments. We're talking big investments with even bigger headaches if something goes wrong with the title.
Okay, so let's dive into some of those different scenarios then. Like, imagine you're an investor and you're looking to purchase, I don't know, like a multifamily apartment building.
Right.
On the surface, everything looks great. But then a thorough title search uncovers a previously undocumented easement running right through the property, which really limits your development options.
Exactly. And without title insurance, that's a costly surprise. And it's not even like just about protecting the buyer.
Right.
Let's say you're a developer and you're, breaking ground on a new condo complex. You've dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's.
Right.
But then out of nowhere, this long-forgotten claim to mineral rights on the land pops up.
Oh, wow.
And it just throws this massive wrench in your plans. That's where title insurance for developers comes in.
So it's like an insurance policy for your peace of mind as a developer, right?
That's exactly.
It lets you move forward confidently, knowing that you're protected.
Exactly. Mitigating that risk.
Yeah.
And just making sure those complex real estate transactions, they can go smoothly.
Right.
And keep in mind, this isn't just about, stuff that happened way back when, like decades ago.
Okay.
Title Insights even mention things like, unrecorded liens.
Right.
Where like a contractor might try to place a lien on a property, like after the work is done.
Oh, wow.
But like before the sale is completely finalized.
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, that's something that could totally slip through the cracks without a thorough title search.
It sounds like you really got to have a good eye for details in this business. And Title Insights, they seem to pride themselves on their meticulous approach to these title searches.
Yeah.
They even mentioned using some pretty high-tech stuff, advanced technology to make sure everything's accurate and efficient. Is that pretty standard these days, or are they going above and beyond?
I'd say technology is definitely becoming more and more important when we're talking about title insurance. You got companies like Title Insights out there, and they're using things like digital document retrieval.
Okay.
You've got your automated title searches.
Right.
And it really speeds up the process.
Yeah.
Reduces the chance of, us humans messing things up.
Right.
But it's not just about speed. Title Insights really emphasizes the importance of human expertise as well.
Okay.
To go through all those findings and, really pick out the things that look a little fishy.
So it's like the best of both worlds. You've got the cutting edge tech, but then that good old fashioned human experience to back it up.
You got it.
Okay, but even with all the precautions in the world, I mean, things can still slip through, right? What happens if a title search does uncover a problem?
That is where the experts at a title insurance company, they really earn their keep. They basically become your advocate, right? They're going to work to resolve those title issues that pop up. So we're talking negotiating with lien holders, clarifying any confusing language in those old deeds.
Right.
And, if they have to, they'll even take legal action to clear that title up.
So they've got your back, basically, like a team of problem solvers.
Exactly.
Okay. That seems really valuable, especially when you're dealing with something as important as property ownership.
Absolutely. And don't forget, those benefits, they don't just disappear after the sale is done.
Oh.
Your policy, it sticks with you. You're still protected from covered claims even after everything's finalized.
So it's like ongoing peace of mind.
There you go.
Okay, I like that. But, let's shift gears just a little bit here. Let's talk about the people involved, the customer service side of things. Title Insights talks of the big game about, how great their customer service is.
Okay.
But we've all heard those horror stories, right?
Yeah.
Unresponsive companies, frustrating delays.
Mm-hmm.
What sets a company like Title Insights apart in that regard?
That's a really important point. Buying or selling a property, I mean, that can be a very stressful time.
Right, yeah.
It's emotional. There are a lot of ups and downs. And having that responsive, knowledgeable team to kind of guide you through every single step, that can make all the difference in the world. And this Title Insights, they emphasize that commitment to communication, proactive updates. They really want to personalize that service. They want to get rid of all the confusion, answer your questions, address any concerns you might have quickly, thoroughly.
So it's really about building that trust.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Knowing you've got, a team of experts in your corner fighting for you. And speaking of expertise, one thing that I noticed in their materials was they mentioned handling these specialized transactions, like something called a 1031 exchange.
Ah, yes. 1031 exchanges.
Ah.
A favorite for real estate investors to kind of avoid those capital gains taxes when they're selling one property and then reinvesting into another similar property.
Right.
But they can be tricky. They're definitely more complex than just your typical sale.
Okay.
You really need to know what you're doing.
So it's good to know that companies like Title Insights, they have that knowledge. They have the experience to handle those kinds of situations.
Exactly. It really shows they understand the real estate industry. They can work with all sorts of clients with their own specific needs.
And they also mentioned something called URFRA, which, if I'm not mistaken, has something to do with foreign investors, right?
That's right. FIRPTA, or the Foreign Investment and Real Property Tax Act, basically says that if a foreign person sells U.S. real estate, part of that money has to be held back for potential capital gains taxes.
Okay.
Adds another layer of, complexity to the whole thing.
It's amazing, really, how many different things are going on in the real estate world. It makes you wonder, with all this talk about hidden claims and potential issues, wouldn't it just be safer to avoid older properties altogether? Just stick with new construction.
That's something a lot of people think. A lot of people think that. But the truth is, even new construction can come with its own set of title issues.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're saying even if I buy like a brand new house straight from the developer, there could still be title problems?
It's not as common, but it definitely happens. You got to remember, we're talking about the history of the property itself.
Right.
Not just the buildings on it.
Okay, that makes sense. So what kind of title issues could you even have with new construction?
Well, Title Insights, they gave a pretty good example. Let's say you're buying a lot in a new development, right?
Yeah.
Everything seems legit, but it turns out there's this old easement on the property.
An easement?
Yeah, it's like a right for someone else to use part of your land.
Okay.
Maybe a utility company, maybe a neighbor. And this easement, it was never recorded properly, so no one even knew about it until now.
Oh, wow. So you could end up buying a property where someone else has the right to, dig up your backyard or something.
Exactly. And if you didn't have title insurance, you'd be stuck dealing with that mess on your own.
So even with new construction, we're saying it's still important to have that title search done, make sure everything's clear.
Absolutely. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
And that's what title insurance is all about, that peace of mind.
And speaking of peace of mind, Title Insights also mentioned something about protecting against fraud. How does that work with title insurance?
It's unfortunate, but real estate fraud is a lot more common than people realize. Oh yeah, you got forged deeds, identity theft, even scams that target like elderly homeowners.
That's awful. So how can title insurance protect against those kinds of things?
Well, let's say someone, tries to forge a deed and sell your property out from under you.
Oh, man.
Title insurance would step in, cover your losses, and help you get your property back.
Wow. So it's like a safety net for all sorts of crazy situations. I never realized how many things title insurance actually covers.
It's one of those things you don't really think about until you need it. But when you need it, you're really glad you have it.
That's for sure. Well, this has been incredibly eye-opening, I gotta say. We've covered so much ground today. Everything from clean titles to fraud protection.
It's a lot to take in.
It really is. So as we wrap things up here, what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to remember about title insurance?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that title insurance, it's not just another expense in the home buying process. It's an investment. And it's an investment in protecting yourself, your property, your finances.
It's about having that peace of mind, knowing that you're covered no matter what comes up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because in the world of real estate, you never know what you're going to find.
Very true. Well, on that note, a huge thank you to you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of title insurance.
It's been my pleasure.
And for all of you listening out there, thanks for being here. We hope you learned a lot. And until next time, happy house hunting.